All right, everybody, it's time to wake up with the B95 Breakfast Club's Bill Fox, along with Managing Director of Proctors Programming and Golden Voice of Albany Pro Music of Fame, Gene Leonard.
Is everybody having a good time so far? Good. This next show in the Key Private Bank Broadway series is one that the lovely Jean from Proctors Programming Team wanted to present to herself.
It's important for Proctors not just to present the best of Broadway, but also to listen to all of you in our Proctors family through engaging conversations, through Facebook, and through thousands of audience surveys, all to make sure that the shows on this stage are the shows that you most want to see.
Often those shows are one and the same, but never before as much as with the show that we're proud to announce at this time. These guys have worked overtime bringing this event to the Capital Region.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fifth in the 2013-2014 Key Private Bank Broadway series. May we have the envelope, please?
The Book of Mormon. This Book of Mormon is so good it makes me angry.
Runaway hit.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of says it all, doesn't it?
The Book of Mormon, the hottest ticket on Broadway. The new musical is from Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park. Now they're working their magic on The Great White Way with another outrageous satire. And if you want to come and see it, you would be well advised to book your reservations now.
One of the hardest tickets to get. So what can audiences expect?
We always thought that musical about Joseph Smith and the creation of Mormonism would make a good musical.
It's like Mormons, Disney, Rodgers and Hammerstein, it all kind of makes sense. Yeah. Mormons are just like, they're just happy people, and so you're going to get a happy musical.
So when people go there, it's got to be funny, right?
Yeah, well, it's hopefully funnier than the real Book of Mormon, you know.
Greatest book in history.
And the 24 goes to the Book of Mormon.
The Mormon!
I think tonight would be a big disappointment if we didn't thank our co-writer who passed away, Mr. Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon religion. You did it, Joseph! You got the Tony!
Playwright and raconteur Byron Nilsson, and give a warm welcome to Time Warner Cable's Your News Now news writer and anchor. Tune in for Kate Westschalker.
We just met.
What
a fantastic lineup. Phantom, Sister Act, Sleeping Beauty, Ghost, Book of Mormon. I think it's a fantastic 5 Broadway blockbuster shows. Probably the best series they've had here ever.
Absolutely. But you know, there's nothing saying that the Key Private Bank Broadway series has to always be only 5 shows.
Well, that's true. There's so many great Broadway shows out on tour. Why shouldn't Proctors bring them to the Capital Region and as soon as possible?
With so much awesome Broadway out there, I think we need to see if maybe there's just one more envelope out there. Could we have one more envelope, please?
British cavalry charging up a hill into barbed wire. It was important to me, and right from the outset, to write a story which was a look at the universal suffering of that war millennium.
I was reading some Michael Morpurgo stories, and my mum said to me, "Have you read the one about a horse in the First World War?" And it was War Horse. It was an extraordinary story, and I immediately thought, maybe this is the story for which handspring puppets could create that definitive puppet that is going to play a leading role.
The thing that intrigued me most, the horse going into war and seeing a war through the eyes of an animal. So the neutrality of the animal, the way it didn't make judgments about any situation, is what appealed to me.
It appeals to such a wide range of audience. There's something in it for everyone, and everyone seems to love it.
It's what an evening should be at the theatre, it really is.
Now, the National Theatre, and a very special moment for the Queen.
We're at Lincoln Center Theatre to celebrate opening night of this theatrical event.
It's unbelievable. The work that the puppeteers do is so remarkable.
This spellbinding show's theme speaks to audiences of every age.
It's absolutely incredible.
I'd see it again and again and again. The Tony Award goes to
Warhorse.
What a bunch of people and what a show they've made.
And now, please welcome the production representative from Warhorse, Scott Tucker.
Can you tell us how Warhorse came about?
Absolutely. When Tom Morris was hired at the National Theatre as an associate director and also co-director of Warhorse, he already knew that he wanted to work with Handspring Puppet Company out of South Africa. So he took a colleague down to South Africa to see a production that was produced and created by Adrian Kohler and Basil Jones. They fell in love with the piece, but they fell in love with the puppetry and what it could do. So collaboration was inevitable, but they needed source material. So as you saw in the film, Tom Morris had a very clever mother who suggested he read this novel, Warhorse by Michael Morpurgo. And this material proved to be the match that would bring these creative giants together. And about 18 months later, the first workshops of Warhorse were born at the National Theatre in London.
What are some of the challenges in bringing a show like this to the stage?
Huge and various. First, how do you display the epic scale of World War I on stage? I mean, how do you lead a cavalry charge on stage? But I think the biggest challenge is how do you create a show where the central character is a puppet that doesn't speak, a puppet that is in fact a horse, and how do you get an audience to follow his story, to empathize with that character? Next big challenge, how do you bring a larger-than-life-size horse puppet to life? It takes 3 actors. They have about 8 weeks of rehearsal in total, but the first 2 weeks they spend with the puppet. So they can learn to become one character. They have to learn as a team to give movement to this horse, to give it its voice.
Can you tell us about the puppetry?
How about we show you? Joey might be a little bashful. It's his first time in Schenectady. I promise he won't bite. Be a good boy, Joey. Come on, boy. Good boy. Good boy, Joey. Stop it. Be a good boy. No, I don't have anything for you. Stop it. Good boy. All right, Kate, would you like to come over and feed him a sugar cube? All right, come on over here. Stand right here. Just hold the hand out and let him come to you. Is a beautiful and innovative design, and it does take 3 actors or puppeteers to bring Joey to life. Each of them is given a physical task, and they're in charge of an emotional indicator. And if it's all right, I'd like to break those things down for you. Is that all right? Excellent. So first we have our head puppeteer, and his physical task is to deal with Joey's sight line, because where Joey's looking will tell us some degree what Joey is thinking. Now, the ears are the head puppeteer's emotional indicator. When Joey's ears are forward, he's feeling curious and attentive, alert, friendly. But sometimes those ears can whip around, maybe because of another horse, a person, a fly, maybe that gets him a little agitated. And it's okay, boys. All right, calm down, calm down. We don't like it when Joey gets like that, so I think we'll move on to the heart puppeteer. Now, the heart puppeteer's physical task is to deal with the weight of the horse. No actual weight goes through the puppet's legs. All of the weight of Joey goes through the heart puppeteer's legs. So every time a hoof hits the floor, you, the audience, should feel the weight of Joey and the muscle moving Joey forward. Now, the emotional indicator is one of the smallest mechanisms, but most important, and that is the breath. The breath lets us know that Joey is alive. So Joey's breaths can sometimes be high and shallow, which would give us the feeling that he's agitated or upset. Something's definitely bothering him. Sometimes the breaths can be deep and raggedy, which gives us the feeling that he's exhausted or overworked from the war. And then sometimes Joey can just have an attitude, and the breath is more of a snort and very forceful. He's letting us know, leave me alone. Now, last but not least, we have the hind puppeteer. Now, the hind puppeteer's emotional indicator is the tail. Now, we searched high and low for material that would move well with air, look lifelike. And originally, we found a material that was made out of foam that worked beautifully, but not a very good match because it was highly flammable. Didn't work. So we went with the material you see here called Tyvek, which is very durable. It's actually the same material that an Australian dollar is made from. So it's very durable and lifelike. And believe me, I've seen Joey in many of the promotional photo shoot. Give him a fan, and he will give Beyonce a run for her money. Now, the physical task for the hind puppeteer is to show us the power and muscle of the hind legs. Also, the heart puppeteer is strapped into Joey in a way where he cannot turn around to see what the hind puppeteer is doing. So, it's up to him to set the 4-beat pattern for Joey when he's walking, and when the walk transitions to a trot, and when the trot transitions to a gallop. I think he's getting a bit wound up. So I need to get him back to the stable. So before we go, one more thing for you. All right, boy. Way up, Joey. Way up, boy. Way up.
Are there more puppets besides Joey?
There are many puppets in the show. In fact, at some point during the night, each actor is puppeteering some object during the show. But other puppets, we have another horse, believe it or not, that's bigger than Joey. His name is Topthorn. He's Joey's best friend during the war. There are 2 other horses, Coco and Heine, who are working horses pulling ammunition carts in the war. There are soldiers. There are mustering horses, which are actually operated by one puppeteer. And there are a variety of birds. There are swallows, there are crows, and there's Goose, who thinks that she's the star of the show.
How much does Joey weigh?
He's made out of cane that is soaked, bent, and stained. And he weighs about 80 to 90 pounds.
We've seen how he moves and his physical structure, but how do you get those lifelike sounds as well?
Well, how about we give you a demonstration? I'll have the actors come out of horse, so we can see that. Come on out, guys.
I feel a little gypped that everybody got these beautiful ladies to walk them out, and they're beautiful, these guys, but let's talk a little bit about horse sounds, and then maybe if we can all do this together, maybe make some horse sounds together possibly after a tutorial. Sounds good? Alright, so yeah, we're already starting right here. So we did some research on horses, and we found that the lung capacity of the horse is about 3 times the size of a grown man, which kind of worked out because there are 3 grown men working the puppeteering the horse. So that was one good thing that benefited for us. Because individually, it would be impossible for any of us to try to make the sound by ourselves. But if one of us was to start a sound, and another would come in and support it in a way, or make it louder, or have a different register used, then it could kind of, gradually build to something larger. So we thought we'd do a couple of those things for you. Maybe on something like on a rear, we would like to do something a little bit high, and then another person will come in with a different register, or just start a little later so we can make a longer sound. So, are we good to go, guys? Notes, because there will be a pop quiz at the end of this. Yes, and another thing that we do is sometimes we start a sound with air going out, and then we continue with air coming back in. So there's exhalations and inhalations. So let's just do some type of inhalation, guys. So. Sometimes we do both, so someone will do something on the outhale and someone will do the inhale, and let's just try that. I'll go inhale, and somebody hit a lower register. Usually we say that for Luke, mostly because he's a little bit sick right now, so he could really get some low registers. And maybe something high? when we started the show, we didn't actually, nobody came and taught us how to make these sounds. So basically for the first few months, we sounded like we were trying to make dinosaur noises. So if we can all try our best dinosaur noise now together, that would be amazing. Yeah? Can we do this? Oh. You guys were left me all alone up here. I know you were making some sounds. You want to make? So let's try it one more time, everybody. Okay? So maybe you need to use your imagination, and I'm a horse that you're calling for across the pasture. You guys? There you go.
I think we have time for just a couple of questions, so if you have something you'd like to ask, let's know.
That what Isaac mentioned there is that actually there are 4 teams of 3 puppeteers that operate both of the main horses in the show, Joey and Topthorn. And the 12 of us have a shared responsibility, so nobody has possession of those roles, which is a very unique situation in theatre. It's like 12 actors playing Hamlet on alternate nights, which is an idea if you want to take that one. And what comes with that then is the kind of unique experience that the role being shared means that I am totally responsive to what is being offered to me from my fellow puppeteers, but also from the team that I'm playing opposite against. And what that means for you as an audience is if you come and see the show more than once, which I'm sure Proctors might encourage you to do so, is that you're going to see a completely unique show each time that you visit. So you'll see different horse puppeteers with different characters, and a lot of the main actors in the show that interact with the puppets are kind of astounded by how different the character of the horses can be from night to night. So there are 4 main teams of puppeteers that rotate.
So, how do you think we did?
In our eyes, the real stars here tonight are the members and subscribers at Proctors. You are the reason that we can bring these spectacular world-class performances here year after year after year.
Now we're almost at the end, so if a little exercise. If you're a subscriber, stand up really quickly. Come on, stand up really quickly. If you're not a subscriber, don't forget the prices will only go up as we go on single tickets. And if you're not a subscriber, remember, if you subscribe, you could change things. You could trade your days, you can opt out. There's a lot of flexibility. And if you're not a subscriber, remember that that's how we can make this kind of stuff happen. By having the kind of support, and we can go back to the New York producers and say, we've got people who want what you're producing. Yes, don't worry, we've got the numbers.
Just got easier as well. With our new 6x6 payment plan, you can subscribe now and make 6 monthly payments toward our season. 6 shows, 6 payments. If you want to take advantage of that, just make a note of that on your subscription form. I'm going to talk about your forms in a minute. You want to talk about groups a little bit?
Oh, sure. And of course you can cut in line of everything and organize a group. From church, from work, a group of 20 or more to any one of these shows. You can get them now before they go on single tickets. And remember, with Mormon, it's selling out everywhere. So it'll sell out here.
Now, please welcome to the stage lead singer of Whitmore Music presents the songs of Whitney Houston. From the original cast of Tony-nominated Sister Act on Broadway, let's have a warm round of applause for Ms. Rashidra Scott.
I know exactly what that meant. Can you say hi?
To shine.